Am I the a-hole for taunting my ex's widow after she lost her court case for visitation with my son? The father of my son, 4, left me for someone else when I, 25 female, was 6 months pregnant. Ex and this woman Mavis married when my son was roughly 3 weeks old. They demanded she come to his visits with our son, and I refused. My reason? They said he needed to get to know his mom as well as his dad, and she was definitely his mom now. They were married and everything, and yeah, that's how they argued it. I never stopped him from seeing our son, but I didn't allow her anywhere near my home, and our son was 10 months old before my ex could take him out for visitation. Then I could do nothing about her being there, but at least she wasn't calling herself my son's mom in my home. She did join my ex every time he dropped our son off with me, and she would try to start a fight because I wouldn't let her hold him to say goodbye once my ex handed our son to me. She'd get mad when I refused to let her spend time alone with our son too. Ex was awarded every other weekend visitation when our son was 18 months old. He lost that visitation when our son was 2 because his wife tried to take our son out of daycare without permission and the cops had to be called. He went back to visits at my house, and she was not allowed near my house or my son. That softened after a few more months. She had to issue an apology and take some classes, and then every other weekend restarted. Then my ex died last year. My son was with me at the time, so there was no fight to get him back, or her trying to run with him or anything, and I think she would have tried to keep my son if my ex had died during his visitation weekends. Mavis then tried to sue me for shared custody as his other parent. That case was thrown out because she was not a legal parent and had no parental rights to my son. Instead, she tried to sue for visitation, and unfortunately that went to court. It took a few months, and we had 2 dates before the judge in order to get a ruling. She was denied visitation. It was decided she had not played a big enough role in my son's life, and she wasn't his family anymore. I was relieved. Mavis was screaming about appeals as we left court. She tried to confront me a week after court, and I was feeling so done with her nonsense that I taunted her and told her she would never be in my son's life again and to go F herself because she's all alone now, and with the way she acts, it didn't surprise me. She started screaming after me, but I kept going. It was only afterward I wondered if it was unfair, because she did lose my ex, and she might have felt some genuine care for my son. I don't know, I think she's just unhinged. But maybe I was still an a-hole. Am I? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. If she keeps contacting you, keep track of everything for a paper trail, as you may need to get a restraining order against her. Also, double and triple check that daycare and/or school knows she is not allowed to take him. They probably already know this, but it sounds like she may try regardless. Hopefully your little man is doing all right after losing his father. Yeah, what's the matter with her? How can she even claim any rights? So strange. Also, I think she needs therapy. There's clearly something wrong with her. Stand your ground, queen. Gotta wonder if she got involved with a man whose partner was pregnant because she can't have her own kids. A little twist on the hand that rocks the cradle, maybe? Don't engage any further. If she approaches you or your kid, you need to file restraining orders and keep them active at all times and forever. She's got problems. She used to brag about giving him siblings, so I'm not sure if she's infertile. But she was really looking to push me out and take over. You thinking she may have run with your son if ex-husband died while she had custody tells the whole story. Not the a-hole. I am convinced she would have. She knew she hadn't a leg to stand on and I'd take him, so she would have kidnapped him. As it is, I'm relieved she never did it when ex was alive. Place her social media to private. Ask friends and family not to post anything about you or your son. Already done. I had it covered before ex died. Next story. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with girlfriend because she refused to go after my former roommate for child support? I, 24 male, have been dating my ex-girlfriend, 23 female, for 3 years now. When we first started dating, she told me that she had previously dated my roommate, 29 male. Okay, all that is in the past. After 2 years together, she introduced me to her child. Now we were at the 3-year mark and we were discussing moving in together. After talking about moving in together, she finally told me that my former roommate is the father of her child. I was not bothered by that until I realized that he has never once talked about his child or anything about child support. I know that he works as a gas station cashier, so I began to wonder how he could afford rent and groceries on top of child support. I asked my ex-girlfriend if he was helping with their child, and she said, "No, I chose to raise my child on my own." Which I thought was stupid because she doesn't earn much herself as a caregiver for obese individuals. I brought up going after him for child support since that's the bare minimum. She got angry and told me to mind my own business. I figured since we were discussing moving in together, then her child would become my business. I thought I was looking out for their welfare, but I guess not. She said I was being an a-hole and that I have no say when it comes to her child. I told her she should be doing better for her child. I then broke up with her because why put time into a relationship with someone who has a child if I'm not allowed to look out for that child's welfare? I also moved in with my parents until I can find a place to rent myself or a new roommate. Am I the a-hole for ending the relationship? Not the a-hole. I say this because if they were discussing moving in together, then everything should be discussed. Maybe he just feels as though the father should be supporting his child. And as far as child support and shared custody, I'm not sure why someone thinks they go hand in hand. There are quite a few people that I know who receive child support, and custody is not involved. I was confused by those comments actually. I looked up the laws for my state before even bringing up the child support. They are handled in the same court, but are legally two separate issues. You can break up for whatever reason you want. But honestly, I would say that the child support is none of your business, as long as she's not asking you for money for her expenses or bills or the child. Now, if she expected you to take care of most of the bills and help out with the child, then yeah, it was your business. So not the a-hole. You're helping pay for her child that's not even yours before you've ever moved in together, so she's definitely going to expect it after. You are contributing to her finances, so at that point it is your business. That is one of the issues that I had. She was comfortable enough with hitting me up for the things that cost money when it came to her child. I didn't mind since I didn't hand her cash or my debit card. I purchased the things her child needed myself. She was comfortable with me taking her child shopping for clothes. I paid for her child to go on class field trips. I grew up with a single mom, and I had a village help raise me. Neighbors donated clothes and some cooked me dinner most nights. So I was never bothered because I was that child feeling left out when it came to class trips. Her child deserved to be like their peers. Enrichment activities like that are important for child development too. Next story. Am I the a-hole for getting my mom's things out of the house so dad can't give any to my half-sisters? My mom died when I, 17 female, was 5. Before she died, she sold a lot of her things that held very little meaning, and she wrote letters to me and Dad saying what she wanted to happen to the rest. In the letter to me, which I got when I was 13, she said she was leaving me her jewelry and all her childhood mementos and keepsakes. She had a small, stuffy collection, some really old books that were handed down, and some scrapbooks she made over the years. Even before I knew what was supposed to be mine, I asked for a lot of the stuff after she died. But Dad said I was too young and that I would get that stuff when I was older and more responsible. But even though he thought I was responsible enough to read the letter, he still said I wasn't responsible enough to have Mom's things. When I was 7, my dad remarried and had the first of my 2 half-sisters with his wife. I was 9 when my second half-sister was born. My dad used to talk about how much Mom would have loved them and how he wished I'd share something of Mom's with each of them when we were older to show how much I love them. I told him they weren't Mom's kids, so I'd never do that. And he told me they might not be Mom's, but they were my baby sisters, and it would be a sweet and meaningful connection between them. My dad's marriage has been falling apart for the last 3 years. Right now, they're separated but still living together, and they fight every day. A few weeks ago, Dad announced out of the blue that he was going to share a piece of Mom's jewelry with each of my half-sisters. He said there was a piece each that he thought would be perfect for them. At this point, he still wasn't willing to let me have Mom's things, and he pointed out to me when we argued about it that Mom only wrote it down in letters. She didn't put those wishes in her will. I told him it was because she trusted him, and clearly she was wrong because he wanted to give her things to someone else's daughters. And I said this because of the times he wanted me to give something to them. He said she would have loved my half-sisters because they were his, and she would have wanted him to be happy. I told him I would have always come before any other kids because I was her only, and I told him it was creepy and weird and gross that he wanted kids he had with someone else, who never met mom and never would, and who were not a part of mom's family, to have her jewelry or sentimental items. After he made the announcement about giving them something, I went searching when no one else was home and I found all the stuff. He kept it so well hidden that I almost didn't find it in time. But when I did, I hid it in my room overnight. And early the next morning, while nobody else was up, I brought it all to my maternal grandparents and asked them to keep the stuff safe from Dad. They were really disgusted with him when I told them what was happening. It took another 3 weeks for Dad to actually go look for Mom's things to give to my half-sisters. And when he couldn't find it, he confronted me and we got into a fight. He accused me of stealing them, and I asked him why he didn't call the cops then, and he said they'd dismiss it as a petty thing, but I was a thief, and I was punishing my half-sisters through him. He said they were so excited to get the jewelry he mentioned, and I said because they wanted pretty things. He could go out and buy them their own jewelry. We fought for like an hour, or maybe even 2, and he kept calling me a thief and demanded I bring the stuff back, but I stood my ground and said no every single time. He tried to make me feel bad for not wanting my half-sisters to have the jewelry he promised. He said Mom would have wanted me to share, and I told him she wouldn't. I said she wouldn't have left it all to me if she had. Then he said something about wanting to share the love I had for Mom with my half-sisters, and I told him I would never want to, and I said it was because of him. He tells me to bring Mom's things back at least twice a week, and I say no, and I told him they will never get the jewelry. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Good for you. Your dad is nuts. He is. But I think this latest announcement was supposed to be a dig at his wife to get under her skin. And if that was all, it'd be something I could ignore. But he wanted me to do this and bugged me for years. So I know he would seriously give the girls those pieces of jewelry and I would hate him for it. Go move in with your grandparents. The letter is proof enough that your mother intended to give you those things. Your half-sisters never even met your mother. Not the a-hole. It's all yours to give or keep as you see fit. I'm not sure if that holds up legally, but as far as Dad is concerned, it should be all he needs, as well as the fact I'm Mom's only child. Legit her only kid in this world, and he wants to give another woman's children pieces of Mom. It's so weird. I would keep that letter safe too. Maybe take that to your grandparents as well. It definitely shows intent. It was written by her and signed by her, not the a-hole. The letter is in one of the boxes at my grandparents' house. I made sure to keep it safe because it's the only letter I have from Mom. Last story. Am I the a-hole for blaming my former caseworker for messing me up by showing me proof nobody in my family wanted me when I was only 14? I, 18 female, went into foster care when I was 4 because my mom died and nobody knew who my biological father was. I didn't find a stable home and left foster care a few months ago, but I left pretty damn messed up. One reason was never having stability, and I was abused frequently by different families I was placed with. I never felt like I had a home, and I don't even strongly remember being with my mom. There's also stuff I never got therapy for that I should have. The kinds of abuse I went through. When I was 14, my caseworker told me I needed to wise up and stop looking for a family and start planning for my future. She showed me the file with the info on when I was placed in foster care, and that's when I learned I had 2 half-siblings who were in their 20s when I was placed, and I had grandparents and an aunt as well, all maternal. All of them were asked about taking me or keeping in touch, and none of them did. The caseworker was like, "This is your reality. Deal with it and stop looking to find a family." She did it because I asked her why they never found a good family for me to live with, and why they all sucked in different ways. Her first reply was about my first 2 foster families being great, but I was removed both times. That was another thing that messed me up because it was so hard to get removed from the awful ones. I didn't do so well after and I almost didn't graduate. My head was just everywhere but school, and then I felt abandoned and like I was out on my own. I got my file and found the names of family and searched for them on social media and reached out to my bio aunt and half-sister. I didn't get a reply from either and was blocked by my half-sister, I'm pretty sure, so yeah. I struggled and then I got mad at my former caseworker because she left me to deal with that with zero help, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But when I told her this, she was like, "You can't blame me. You were supposed to wise up, not fall apart, and you needed to stop wanting things you couldn't have." It's made me feel more messed up, and I don't know. Am I the a-hole? I don't even care about the downvotes. These comments are crazy. That was absolutely cruel and unnecessary to tell you. She let you down, and instead of hearing you and letting you know it's not your fault you got a crappy hand, she tried to make you feel like it was your fault. I am so sorry. I don't even have words for how lonely it must have felt all these years. But you are capable of finding a family still. I believe there's a tribe of people out there for you, and I really hope you find it soon. Nothing that has happened to you was your fault. Thanks. I still don't know how she decided that was needed in response to, why can't they find a good foster family for me? Never did I ask about bio family. I always assumed I had none. I don't have any hope that anyone could love me. It feels like I was never meant to belong anywhere. What she told me just made me feel like I was destined to be alone. See if you can report this damn social worker. She should not be in this job. She was also an abuser. You might be able to get into therapy now. I'm so sorry the system failed you so badly. Maybe your bio aunt could tell you who your father is? She might respond to that question. She didn't reply to me asking if we could talk, so I don't think she'll reply to me asking who my bio father is. I don't expect to hear anything back from any bio relative I now know about.